deep intellectual thinker who speaks on a level different from many of my previous guests. I didn't know his level of knowledge at the start of the interview, but about a quarter through, I could see I wasn't dealing with just another smart mind. I was in the presence of greatness. James True is truly in a class by himself, and no pun intended. This is one you may have to listen to twice. Without further delay, here's my interview with James True, because there will certainly be a second. Welcome to Open Your Reality, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chad, and today we have a very special guest on the show. His name is James True. He has a bachelor's degree in religion and philosophy. He was also in the U.S. Navy as a sub hunter, which is very interesting. He's also a self-taught software engineer, the author of 6 books. One of them is fiction, 5 nonfiction, and all of them were received with very good acclaim. James has a YouTube channel under the same name, James True, and he also has a website, jtrue.com. If you want to know more about him, I suggest you go over there. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to our very special guest today, James True. Welcome to the show, James.
Great to be here, Chad. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Now, I know many of my guests may not know who you are. A few of them recommended you, and so I checked you out, and we got in touch yesterday. So I've had less than 24 hours to explore your videos and your blog and your website. But I've learned a little bit, and I formulated some questions. But can you just give my viewers a basic summation of your philosophy?
Yeah, I think probably the best way to describe that would be a dojo earth setting. I believe that the reality that we're living in is a sort of a dojo where we are here to discern ourselves and our own ability to perceive and interact in an environment. So large symbiotic, holographic, tangible holographic experience. All these opportunities are here to elicit vitriol from us. This vitriol is a kind of pollen that when we learn to secrete and to harness this vitriol, we end up blooming. And what we bloom is consciousness. So what you're seeing around the world is with the blooming and rising of consciousness is a very natural part of this sort of greenhouse place that we're living in right now. And it seems to be functioning perfectly, I would say. I think that's another part of this philosophy I have, where it seems to be mostly consent driven. And it seems to always be leading to more consciousness rather than less as it progresses through space and time.
You're known as a truther. Are you also into prepping? Into the whole prep thing?
Well, I don't even know if I fit the definition of truther. I am not personally a prepper myself, but I think that's only more about just my mode is I'm just a lone Han Solo kind of figure that doesn't have a large family. I think if I was in that different mode, I would just have a different atmosphere as far as like what my situation is. I think I'm more of a Kerouac kind of wanderer, if that makes sense. And so prepping would actually kind of go against just my personal flow state is all, if that answers your question.
Yeah, Jack Kerouac, the famous writer from the past. So you're more, you would say, I just want my audience to kind of get a feel of who you are. So you're more of a loner. You live in the Appalachian Mountains. You're a writer. You're a philosopher, a poet, and you're somebody that's just basically looking at to distill the truth of the world. You're like me. You want to know the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been my biggest passion since college. Is just understanding what reality is, why we're here, what it's about. When I entered the philosophy market, so to speak, in my academics, we didn't even have a word or a concept like simulation theory. Computers weren't even a thing. It was such a new concept. One of my earliest sort of points of contention with the world was I wanted to talk about how reality has been shaped by an ATM machine. That just by having 2 different ATM machines across the country that could both access a certain kind of reality in which either a bill with $100 on it or $20 on it would inject itself from a machine, and that would be a reliable thing that you could rely on, kind of shows that reality itself doesn't really have this old school definition of having this physicality to it. that reality is actually more defined by